Hey guys, what's going on? It's Evan, and just not a single comment about the hair, please. It's gonna get cut at some point, maybe when the semester's over. I'm in my kitchen right now because, I've been in my room for the past million vlogs I've done, so I figured I'd switch it up. And I basically wanted to do a third part to that whole mistakes in film series that I kind of started and did a little bit of last year. I did it, I think, the year before that, or 2 years before that. I don't remember anymore. I don't remember anything, and I don't check because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I wanted to kind of go through some of the stuff that I made in 2017 and talk about some of the mistakes that I made in some of my projects and stuff, and things I wish I could have done a little bit better, and kind of use that as an opportunity to reflect and look forward and all that stuff we've talked about before.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Just off the bat, my first mistake was not saving my money so that I could make Mortars 3 this year, but because I couldn't, because I'm saving now from Patreon stuff and all that, so maybe eventually in 2018 we will see Mortars Episode 3. So it's cool. Getting into projects, though, I wanted to kind of talk about some of my short film stuff first, and then I would kind of tack Stan Frederick stuff at the end, because, Stan Frederick, that's a whole season, and I'd rather talk about individual short films first, so we're going to do that. So first up is Character Limit, which was the first big short film that I did this year, and it had, small issues. I think it's reaching this point in my production stuff where, the issues that I'm having are so unbelievably small. Beforehand, it would be some stuff like really harsh audio cuts or, some strange audio a lot of stuff is audio because I'm really bad with audio. Surprisingly, though, the first problem with Character Limit is that the lighting is really bad. Okay, no, it's not even bad. I was using professional lights and stuff for it, but it was a really dark image because I had the camera set wrong to accommodate for the light that I had. So it was kind of dark still. So when I tried to brighten the image, it kind of blew it out a little bit and made it kind of gray where the black values were, and there's a lot of grain, and I don't like that. I think that it looks kind of ugly and kind of concrete-ish, and that's just a visual thing. I really don't like this angle. I can't tell you why, I just think that it's so, there's no point to it, it's just kind of there. I mentioned this in my unfinished projects video thing I was making in October, but, there's one thing in Character Limit where, there's hard cuts towards the end, and it doesn't really look as smooth as it did earlier because I'm standing in front of the thing that's supposed to be disappearing. And the last issue, yeah, it's an audio issue. It's always going to be an audio issue, probably. There's just this really high-pitched room tone, in the background the entire time, and it's just Jesus. But yeah, you know what? Those are all really small issues. I love Character Limit. It's so fun. Okay, so now I want to move on to Syncing, which, I keep repeating that. It's one of my favorite projects of this year. I think there was, sound fluctuations, little sound issues that would happen once or twice in the film. I think the most notable one is that there's just this point where he looks over at his phone right before he falls asleep, and the audio just randomly just dips up. Yeah, you probably can't even tell, but every time I watch it, it makes me freaking crazy. I'm just gonna skip over Good Morning because right now I can't see any technical problems with it, so maybe just some writing problems. I don't know. That was a fun short. It was simple, and it was all the shots and all the audio stuff actually ended up working pretty decently. Maybe some audio work could have maybe benefited from 1 or 2 more passes in the sound department. I am the sound department. Okay, so that's it for all the big short film projects. So now I want to kind of talk about Stan Frederick. And Stan Frederick is one of those things that just has bad audio problems all around because I was more, focused on telling the story and less focused on making a found footage horror series sound any good. I regret that. A lot. But yeah, let's go piece by piece. So starting with 21 forward, there's too many miscellaneous clips in there of just stuff. I was trying to fill it up to make it seem like Stan's time has been passing for a while and that he's been doing a lot. And then I ended up adding in clips of him looking out the blinds of his thing, which is a cool eerie thing, but it doesn't add to Stan's story in particular, I guess. It's that much. It could definitely be There could definitely have been something I added that was better. Plus, specifically in that episode, that cut, specifically when Stan is there and then it cuts to him being there, he puts the camera down. But I decided that would be a good idea to cut there, and it confused a lot of people, and it's kind of a weird looking thing. It looks like someone's watching him, when in reality what actually happened in the clip was that Stan put the camera down. I did random weird cuts sometimes, just to try to conserve some time, and It ended up looking really strange in a lot of places. 25 Memories was kind of like, I wish that I kept in the scene that I deleted. If you guys don't know, there was a deleted scenes video that I released when season 2 finished, and there's a deleted scene that's a whole chunk of the episode where Stan talks about like the ideas behind memories and all that stuff, and I wish that I kept that in. Just because 25 now, as it is, kind of reads more like a narrative thing rather than something that a dude would actually upload to his YouTube vlog. You know, it just kind of feels like it's there for narrative stuff. Like, why would somebody just upload a video of them just digging through their basement and finding some pictures and not even showing the pictures and having a phone conversation? It doesn't make any sense. So if Stan had kept that opening in where he talks about memories and stuff, it would make the later stuff feel more like it belongs there. Maybe like it's just like a footnote to his conversational stuff. Like he just didn't edit the video very well and just threw everything on. Like, you know, that would make more sense. 27 Film Student is the biggest audio problem video of the entire season because I used 2 different cameras. I used my camera and then I used my cell phone, and I didn't bother to balance the audio at all, and it was kind of ugly because of that. The phone audio is really low, and then when it switches over to the camera, suddenly shit just starts getting loud, especially with the distortion and all that. So it's kind of like, it's a mess. It's loud, and it's like, I feel bad for the people that'll have to adjust their volume. I'm really trying not to curse, and I'm doing a really poor job. With 29 Neighbors, since a lot of that episode was dubbing and stuff, I feel like a lot of the dubbing could have been a lot better. I always use the same camera, my camera, because it was supposed to be Stan's camera, and for the people that I crossed over with, I did my best to ask them if they could to use a DSLR if they had it. But the thing is, like, where I recorded for some reason, like the noise removal stuff was kind of difficult, so sometimes it didn't always sound the best. Like there were points where there'd be like these high-pitched hums and all that shit, and it sounded bad. Episode 30 is just the ugliest yellow ever, and I don't know what possessed me to not go through like the color balance lighting stuff that I normally do in scenes, but it looks so bad, and I could have just switched it. Like, there's one setting on the camera that would have made it look better, and no amount of color correction could fix that yellow, because that is an intense yellow. I really like episode 32, Corruptulum, except for, like, all the exposition shit.
You're losing me, what?
But the biggest problem I have with it is that there's this continuity issue where, like, the video of Oscar that Stan looks at is, like, has a little March date at the top of it, which wasn't supposed to show up, and I hadn't really considered it, but honestly, like, people that were watching assumed it was part of the story, and that Oscar just hasn't gotten the message out for 2 months, even though the video takes place in May, and I was like, okay, sure. When Stan pulls Connor's body down in episode 33, he makes this sound, which sounds a lot more like a plastic mannequin meeting wood than a human body meeting wood. Also, yeah, Oscar isn't swollen because he hung himself, and his whole face should have been swollen, and that... Whoops, the final shot of episode 35 was super out of focus, and it looks really strange. I had to slow it down because there's only one point where it goes into focus before I push it too far into the lens, and it's completely out of focus at that point. So I didn't want to go back outside and put more effort into doing the take one more time, so I just decided to cheat it and slow down the part, and therefore, like, it looks a little weird. Like, you could see that it's kind of slowed down. Kind of throws off the dramatic rhythm a little bit, but... what are you gonna do? Hey, I know what you could do. You could just re-record it. That'd be probably better. I 100% hate the look of episode 36. I just don't like how it looks. I don't like where I shot it. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't like the rug. I don't like the kind of echo of the room. I should have just shot it somewhere else, but for some reason I was just like, yeah, no, this is the perfect spot. It's a personal thing. I'm sure nobody has an issue with it. I just think it looks ugly. So with episode 38, I don't like what I'm wearing in that scene, mostly because fans have made it very clear that I look like Winnie the Pooh in that shot, which I had never considered. That's amazing. And you can't really see the cut to black either because the movement, like, towards the end when he goes into the house, it's too dark and you can't really see the cut to black. I always like it when you can see the cut to black, so... I don't know, it was weird. I didn't like how it looked. With episode 40, Stan locks the rake in his room, and it's really hard to tell because, again, there's a strange cut where, like, Stan knocks on the closet door inside the room, and then it cuts to him shutting the room of his bedroom door. It's a really awkward and weird cut, so it's like, wait, where is he now? Like, we don't know where Stan is in the space, and that's kind of strange. Oh yeah, and somebody pointed out that at some point in the video, you can actually see the little plate of the mannequin. You know, the Slenderman mannequin, like what he's standing on. You could see the mannequin plate. So yeah, that's all the stuff that I did in Stan Frederick. And actually, that's all the stuff that I did in all of my short film content this year. But let's do a couple honorable mentions for this channel. The priority is character and its story and makes the artistic landscape a much more immediately inside Llewyn Davis. Then it immediately looked kind of fake. And the other problem was that I couldn't auto-rotoscope it. But yeah, that would do it for this video about mistakes in 2017. You know what? I think I did better than I did last year, and in, you know, subsequent means after. What previous years before, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. It's thematic. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching as always. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe, check out some of my other stuff. Support me on Patreon. Also, if you want, let me know what other kind of stuff you guys want to see me make or talk about or anything like that. I'm open to suggestions. I'm not going to take them all, but I might take a few. Seriously, suggest stuff. I love stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.